When I was a kid, I used to go on tubing trips with my family all the time. So tubing is when you get an inner tube, you get in a river, usually a pretty slow moving river, and you lay back and you just tube down the river. So I grew up in North Carolina, and this was a big thing in the mountains there. And when I was tubing, I noticed that there were essentially three kinds of tubers. First, about 90% of the people were just floaters. They floated. They didn't paddle anywhere. They just kind of let the current take them wherever it was going to take them. And the problem is that they would often enjoy the ride until they got stuck. And they would get stuck by these rocks or by trees or roots underneath the water. And then they would turn around and they would have no idea how to get out. So they'd have to stand up or they'd have to call somebody over, but they would inevitably get stuck. Then there was a second group, and the second group was probably about 8% of people, and those people paddled furiously. They were just paddling, and exhausting themselves because they knew exactly where they wanted to go, but by the time they got there, they were worn out. They hadn't enjoyed the ride. They just got to their destination quickly and they exhausted themselves. And even sometimes they worked against the current because they couldn't get where they wanted to go. And then there was a third group, and that comprised about 2% of people. And that group had this intensity about where they were going to go, where they wanted to go. But they had this rhythm of paddling hard and then resting well, and paddling and resting, and paddling and resting. And what I noticed in that group is that they not only got to where they wanted to go, but they enjoyed the ride in the process. Now, here's the question for you. Which kind of life paddler are you? See, I've noticed the exact same kind of patterns in people as they approach life. About 90% of people just float. They're not intentional with the projects they take on. They're not intentional with their growth and development. They're not intentional in the relationships that they develop. They just float through life. And at some point they get stuck and they look around and wonder how in the world they got there. I've noticed about 8% of people paddle furiously. They exhaust themselves. They just push and push and push and push. They know exactly where it is that they want to go, but in the process of trying to get to where they want to go, they embrace 80-hour work weeks and 4-hour sleep nights and all of these habits that get them stressed, exhausted, and overwhelmed. And then there's this very small percentage of people, and I wonder if you are in this percentage or want to be in this percentage. These are people who intentionally know where they want to go, but build patterns of rest and recovery, of paddling and rest, of working hard and then taking a break. And they don't work the 80-hour work weeks. They've learned how to get a lot done in a little bit of time and then take a break from it. What kind of paddler are you? How do you approach the river of life? The beauty of getting unbusy is that you learn to paddle very intentionally with where you want to go, but at the same time, you learn how to take rest and recovery breaks, and those actually make you a better paddler. You are a paddler, right? You either float through life, you paddle against the stream or paddle furiously, or you learn to build rhythms of paddling and recovery. Getting unbusy is a tool that can help you stress less, accomplish more, and enjoy your life as you journey through it.